Team, keep it clean. How y'all feeling today? I hope y'all are doing really good. I don't know why I'm just in like an extra good mood today, man. But I love y'all. I hope things are going really, really great. We got a fun, quick episode. A question from subs. Of course, it's game day tomorrow versus the Panthers. Or if maybe it could be today, depending on when I edited this and put this out. But anyway, I say it all the time, but I appreciate y'all so much, man. I really, really do. I appreciate y'all so much. Just thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being the way that you are. Thank you. Now, first question came from my guy, Brandon. And he said, team, keep it clean. I've listened to questions from others and some make more sense than others, but I do agree with the one where someone suggested we keep Queen and Roquan together. For years now, we have let pass rushers leave because we chose to spend more money at the cornerback position and haven't received the results from spending what we have. All right, before we get into that cornerback part, I keep telling you, I would love if they were able to keep Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen together because, and I know it's still early, so we'll continue to see how they operate together. But if they're operating like they operated against the Saints together, then just imagine how good it can be as their relationship continues to grow. Another thing that I think about, I really want to see them against a better offense and just a better team overall. So they really get tested and they really get challenged and whatnot. That'll be fun to watch. But anyway, with them, I would love to see it happen, but I don't envision it happening because of, again, the business. They could, because a lot of people have continued to bring out, oh, hey, well, we still got Patrick Queen on another year of his rookie deal. They do. They could pick up Patrick Queen's fifth-year option, but the way that Eric DeCosta has operated, if he's not going to keep you, especially a first-round pick, look at the first-round picks that Eric DeCosta has drafted in Hollywood. They knew they weren't keeping Hollywood. Hollywood knew they weren't keeping Hollywood. They traded him. Before his contract expired, they didn't even let it ride out or nothing like that. They traded him. Hayden Hurst, first-round pick. They knew they weren't keeping him. They knew they weren't paying him. They traded him before his contract expired. And me, I'm somebody that would love. I wanted Hayden Hurst to stay. I obviously wanted Hollywood to stay. And even with Orlando Brown Jr., he wasn't a first-round pick, but he wasn't getting paid, and they traded him. They traded him before his contract ran out. I wanted the Ravens to keep those guys, all three of them, until their contracts run out, just because of the quality depth that they would be. And these guys all could have been starters too. And I mean, in fact, they were starters all at one point. So I wanted Ravens to keep them and then just to end up getting the comp pick. But, Ravens would much rather get the draft picks now for somebody that they're going to unload early rather than later. That's why I don't envision them holding on to Patrick Queen even in his fourth year. I would love if they did, but I don't envision them doing that. Now, they could, if they picked up the fifth-year option, but I just don't see them doing that either. I don't see them doing that. Because the only other thing I was thinking about was if they picked up the fifth-year option, and then traded him going into that fifth year. But I just don't even see them going through those logistics and loopholes, and I just don't see it. But hey, we'll see when we see, right? But I mean, again, I would love for them to stay together, but I just don't think they will. Anyway, back to this cornerback thing. He said, I love Marlon, but he doesn't pick the ball off at an amount that he should as a number one corner. We let it pass because he was peanut punching the ball out and still getting turnovers. But here, recently, it seems that we are just paying him to tail receivers and tackle. You make it sound like Marlon Humphrey having a bad year. What? What? I said that part. I don't get that part. Like, no, because Marlon Humphrey, he been doing his thing this year. Like, against Mike Evans, it wasn't his best game. Against Chris Olave, he's up and down, a lot more ups and downs. But overall, he has been having a phenomenal year this year. And this, in my opinion, this year so far, this has been the best football that I think we've ever seen Marlon Humphrey play this consistently. The best football we've ever seen him play since he came into the league. And I know that's very high praise, but I really do think that Marlon Humphrey does deserve it for his play on the field. He has been amazing. He has had some little hiccups here and there, but not many at all. And he continued, he said the same can be said about Marcus Peters. As far as he's saying that we are just paying him to tail receivers and tackle. He said the same can be said about Marcus Peters. That was long, but do you believe it is time that the Ravens reevaluate the money on the defense and let Marcus Peters go? Hope that Calais Campbell retires and let Chuck Clark fly. I like how he described every scenario with different words, because he could have been like, let Marcus Peters go, let Calais Campbell go, let Chuck Clark go, but he used different words to describe every scenario. But anyway, with Marcus Peters, I think he's gone. I really do think that this is his last year with the Baltimore Ravens. Love Marcus Peters, and there's nobody like him on the team. And the Ravens, in fact, actually need more people like him on the team. But I think that Marcus Peters is going to be gone. I think they're just going a different direction at corner. You got Pepe Williams, Brandon Stevens, who knows what position they'll have him playing next year. Jalen Allen-Davis, it hasn't worked out thus far, and I know he's dealing with an injury right now, so we'll see what happens. But I think they go corner early in the draft. Early in the draft, like first, second round pick. I think they'll go corner. Because I don't see them re-signing Marcus Peters this year again. So that'll be something when that happens. Well, if it happens, because it's not like it's set in stone. But I don't think that he's gonna be a Raven next year. He said that also hope that Calais Campbell retires. I think that definitely happens. He almost retired last year, but he decided to come back. So hopefully, Ravens can send him out with that Ray Lewis treatment, that Michael Strahan treatment, where you go out on top with a Super Bowl. We'll see, but they still got a lot of work to do if they're going to get there. Anything's possible till it ain't possible no more. We'll see. And he said, and let Chuck Clark fly. I believe Chuck Clark will be traded. Same reason for that I was talking about with Patrick Queen. I think it's the same thing with Chuck Clark. They drafted Kyle Hamilton, rookie guy. They got him for at least 4 years, 5 years if they want. They signed Marcus Williams, veteran guy in his prime. They got him for 5 years. And Chuck Clark, he got this year and next year left on his deal. So I think he already requested the trade last year. I mean, obviously they didn't grant it, and then things worked out. They gave him a little change to the salary or whatnot. But I think Chuck Clark will be gone. He said, I believe that we should build the defense from the inside out. If we can get back to stopping the run, top 5, we can then draft and refine and find replacement pieces for the secondary. For the money we are spending on the secondary, no one should be able to pass on us. See, with Ravens secondary, they're ranked, I believe they're ranked like 20-something. But when I watched them, and maybe it's all from that Tua game. Maybe it's from the Tua and the Mac Jones game. And Flacco, because I think Flacco threw over 300 yards on him too. But they don't look like a 20-something ranked pass defense to me. They don't. And I know they're not receivers, but Ravens, boy, if they like, again, with the Ravens this year, it's the small things, man. The small little fixes here and there. I know they're not receivers, but if this Ravens defense can start catching a lot of the picks that they drop, oh my goodness. Remember that Bucs game? They dropped at least four picks, at least 4. Because Marlon Humphrey dropped one on the first drive. Marcus Peters dropped one in the end zone. I know either Chuck Clark or Geno Stone, they dropped one in the end zone. And somebody else dropped one too. But if they would hold on to those picks oh boy. But anyway, he said, but sadly, that hasn't been the case as far as nobody should be able to pass on us. Even with league recognition of how good Marlon and Peters are as corners, they don't scare anybody. We need an Ed Reed. I mean, we need an Ed Reed. Ain't nobody like Ed Reed, man. Ain't nobody been like Ed Reed. Ain't nobody like Ed Reed. If they could get another Ed Reed, I'm sure they would in a heartbeat. But so would all 31 other teams. So getting another Ed Reed, that'd be nice. But only way you get another Ed Reed is if you hire him as a coach.
Yeah, this feels like a dream, and you know just what I mean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, he's a fan, and he like the Ravens, and you know just what I mean.
Team, keep it clean. Welcome to another episode of Questions from Subs. Y'all know how it goes already. If you want to send in a question, you already know how. I appreciate y'all for all the questions that you do send in. Shout out to the Team Keep It Clean patrons and the Team Keep It Clean channel members. Y'all see we got the little thing at the bottom of the screen now. So, hey, had to give y'all acknowledgement. I know y'all remember we had computer issues like a couple weeks ago, and then things just been super busy. But now I like the little track or whatever it's called, where names come across the screen and whatnot. So I appreciate y'all. If anybody want to become a Team Keep It Clean patron or Team Keep It Clean channel member, For the Patreon, you go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids to become a Team Keep It Clean channel member. Then you would go to click the join button next to subscribe. Well, you should already be subscribed, but the join button, and you'll see it. And if you don't want to do either one, that's fine too. I ain't gonna hold it against nobody. It's not a big deal. Do not ever feel pressured to. I'ma love you regardless. So whether you like me loving you or not, I'ma love you regardless. So straight up. Anyway, next question came from my guy Greg in B-More. He said, Jeff Saturday becoming head coach for the Colts. If it works out, it could be great for former players who played a long time to prove that they have the knowledge to be a head coach right away without having to go through the coaching ranks to be the head coach. Someday, with their experience studying the game from their playing days and being a leader. If you watch Pat McAfee, he has made great points on this. I know there's controversy with that move, but in fantasy land, if Harbaugh retired today and Ravens hired a former player and you could choose anyone, who would you hire? And pick a former offensive player and a former defensive player. He said he would pick Ray Lewis and Marshall Yonder. Me, Ray Lewis, obvious choice, but besides Ray Lewis, Reed. I mean, my guy was just, Brandon was just talking about Ed Reed earlier, but Ed Reed, he would be my guy. On offense, I'd probably pick Joe Flacco. I pick Joe Flacco because the reason I pick Ed Reed is just because it's just the knowledge, man. The knowledge of the game, he was an amazing player. He was so smart, man. He was extremely smart. And just the way that he could break stuff down and analyze, I just loved Ed Reed, man. So Ed Reed would be one, but for Flacco, his demeanor, I know he ain't all rah. But I feel like with Flacco, he would be somebody that would allow the players not to get too high or to get too low on themselves. I feel like with Flacco, he would keep the players humble. And what I mean when I say that, with Flacco, say for instance, you make a good play. Flacco, he gonna clap, but he ain't gonna be all super hype or whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with people that do get super hype, because being excited is a wonderful thing. But with Flacco, I feel like he wouldn't let you get too high on just one play. Like if it's a game-winning play at the end of a game, oh yeah, he's gonna be hype or whatever. But if it's one play in the game, he's gonna be like, oh, great play, let's go make another one. And he'll sit there with a straight face. Now, if you make a bad play, same thing. He said, okay, you made a bad play, let's go fix it. So he won't allow you to be too low on yourself, and you need somebody with balance. And if you hire Flacco, he was a former quarterback, and he's going to definitely put that emphasis on the passing game. Kenyon Drake at wide receiver. Next question came from my guy, Kevin. He said, hey, Ingraven, you read my email about solving the wide receiver position. I meant to add, use Kenyon Drake at wide receiver like you use Devin Duvernay. Now you can interchange them, but it allows you to put Duvernay at your number one receiver. Bottom line is you put your best weapons and players on offense on the field. What do you think? Now, that statement right there, you could have started and ended with that statement, and I'm 100% with you. You put your best weapons and players on offense on the field. Well, on defense too, but on offense, yeah, for sure. And you use them and you play them to their strengths. And not even just the wide receiver position is solved, but the whole offense is solved. Next question came from Javo. He said, this will be the busiest offseason in Ravens history. Do you agree? With free agents like Lamar Jackson, Roquan Smith, Geno Stone, Ben Powell. Oh, Ben Powell, I forget about him being a free agent. Oh, good reminder. And Marcus Peters, who do you see not getting extended? I don't see Marcus Peters getting extended. I don't see Ben Powell getting extended. I think they want Ben Cleveland there. Geno Stone, I can see them re-signing him for depth. Roquan Smith, I see him getting extended. Lamar Jackson, I don't see getting extended. He said, in the Madden world, we could re-sign all of them. Or if you were Howie Roseman. He said, also, what do you think about signing speedster Mecole Hardman this offseason? I don't think he would want to sign with the Ravens, depending on what they do. But I don't think he'll want to sign with the Ravens, and I don't think the Ravens would even want to sign him because he's going to command a significant amount of money, and Ravens, they don't want to pay that to a receiver. Next question came from BB. He said, do you think the Ravens will pay Roquan before or if they pay Lamar? Before, I think so for sure, because I think it'll be an easier deal. It'll be a much easier deal. He said, will the Ravens ever prioritize and invest in this offense? They have invested at some position. Like they have invested, like Ronnie Stanley, obviously a big investment. Mark Andrews, a big investment. Tyler Linderbaum, he's an investment. They paid Nick Boyle. That's an investment right there. Gus Edwards, even though they kept his money low by keeping his usage low over the years, they did pay him. Second round pick on J.K. Dobbins. Fourth round pick on Likely, and then Koloff first. They got him first, and then Likely. I always forget that. I feel like they picked Likely first, but they got Koloff first. I always forget. But if you're talking about specific, like wide receiver position, no. Under this philosophy, no, I don't see it. But overall, they have made some investments but they could obviously do a lot more. But anyway, he said, will the Ravens move on from Hobbs if they flop in the playoffs again? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't see any scenario where Harbaugh is fired, especially if Ravens get to the playoffs. But if they like smacked, if they like dogged in the playoffs, then I think the question could come up. But Ravens just don't seem like they are going to ever move on from Harbaugh. I think the only scenario where I see the Ravens moving on from Harbaugh is only if Harbaugh moves on from them, if he retired or something. Oh, and he wasn't even done yet. He also said injuries play a part in success, but so does having competent leadership, preparing for the unknown. Thanks again for this positive channel and all your dedication to us every day as subscribers. Hashtag Tinky McLean, hashtag Pay Lamar. I like that last one. The second to last question on this episode came from my guy, Nyan the Great. He said, maybe I'm crazy, but yo, Ingraven, Nyan again. Hope you and your family are doing well, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed your vacation. Can't wait until I can take trips like you, brother. You work hard, supply dope content, and are consistent. I'm sure you will be able to take far better trips than I ever have. I guarantee you that. But I appreciate you. He said, thank you for the never lackluster content. Gets me through the day and in between service calls. I appreciate it. He said, so here's a crazy thought. After watching the Colts drag Vegas through the mud with basically a legendary vet player off the street without any coaching experience at all, no shots to Jeff Saturday, one of my favorite players and one that I modeled my game after when I played center during my football career. I also paid attention to the passion displayed by both Derek Carr and Davante Adams. Both equally quelled with tears and frustration post-game as the Raiders' 2022 season hasn't turned out the way anyone has planned, fans and experts alike. Adams has voiced his frustration because of the consistent misfires leading to a dumpster fire season. He wants to win. He really only left Green Bay to be united with an old flame in an attempt to rekindle the connection from Fresno. Well, as we all know, when you go backwards, 9 times out of 10, you continue to travel in that direction. Well, I mean, technically, I guess you're right. But what about that one time out of those 10? What if you are actually going in the right direction and you have some... Anyway, let me just continue. He said, I say all this to ask you, with Adams clearly frustrated with how the season is turning out, knowing he passionately wants to win, do you think it is plausible? No. I see where this is going. No. But anyway, he said, do you think it is plausible to acquire Davante Adams sometime in this or next offseason and give Lamar Jackson or whoever may fill that role pending negotiations? I see what you did there, and I respect it because that's real. But he said, to give them a true number one talent at the wide receiver position, what are your thoughts? I would love Davante Adams. It ain't happening, though. He is on a high salary. Ravens they're not paying no wide receiver a high salary. So, no, it ain't going down. But anyway, he said, do you think that he may take a bit of a pay cut to go to a generally successful franchise that has more winning potential and be surrounded by mounds of talent rather than a once great, now scandal-filled black hole of an organization? No, I don't think that the pay cut that Ravens would want him to take would be there wouldn't be a pay cut big enough that he would take to become a Raven. And he said, and to be fair, this year Adams is 29. Next year he'll be 30. With how a franchise does business at that position, it wouldn't be too far-fetched that we grab him in that age range. Again, thank you so much for doing what you do and being very responsive to Team Keep It Clean. Praying for your continued success, potential rise to expand your brand, and nothing but good health for you and yours. Football fan first, Ravens fan for life. Nyan the Great. Appreciate you, Nyan. And the last question on this episode came from my guy Manuel. He said, the Andrew Luck situation in Baltimore. What's up, Ingraven? Shout out from Mexico. Hope your stay in the coastal part of the country was great. Oh yeah, Mexico was amazing. He said, after watching a small documentary of Andrew Luck's career by microphone, shout out to him, I was looking at the Ravens and we are having the same thing happen to Lamar Jackson in a different way. While Luck never had an offensive line to protect him from all those hits, Lamar has no targets to throw to. And before the Purple Patrol comes at me, let me point the obvious that we saw a glimpse on Thursday night. No Mandrews, no Bateman, only unproven guys that had top 5 defenses aren't scared of. We threw only 8 times in the second half, and the most to a rookie tight end. That is likely, and he's a good player. But other than him, Duve ain't Debo. And no disrespect to Robinson, Prochet, Wallace, and Deshaun, but no one is scared of them. And it's not only our passing plays or concepts. If you scheme a wide receiver to get open, but he doesn't have the talent to make you afraid of him, then you know you got it covered with your talent on defense in the playoffs. Oh, so there's a lot right there. with Duve, he's not Debo, but he actually is a lot like him when the Ravens decide they want to use him like that. Now, it's up to the Ravens to actually use him like that. But the comparisons are fair, in my opinion. They really are. Because Ravens have showed us this year when they've used him. They're like, oh, okay, he can make some stuff happen. But anyway, he said, how many times have we seen wide receivers go to lesser teams for money or to other great quarterbacks, and we always hearing from the front office, oh, we almost had it, and it's painful to see talent at the quarterback position wasted like that. Not only Lamar, but Flacco as well. After the Super Bowl, Torrey Smith wasn't enough at wide receiver, neither was Steve Smith Sr. at the end of his career. For all that preaching of defense wins championships, if that was true, why Baltimore didn't win in 2003, 2007, 2009, 2014? Well, you missed 2006 because that was a big one. He said, or even 2018 on Lamar's rookie deal. Last time I recall, the run in 2012 was led by our offense, not our defense, especially on that Mile High Miracle game that happened on my birthday. And now, with the game coming this Monday, well, actually, this Sunday, we'll see if our very unproven wide receiver core has what it takes to help Lamar go and get a Super Bowl. Well, not even with the games that are on, well, with all the games, not even just the one game that's on the way, with all the games that are on the way. We're going to see. And if not, I expect EDC to call OBJ and give him what he wants to help Lamar and this offense go all in. And if he doesn't call OBJ, even if we win barely, because of Lamar, not our wide receivers, then he really isn't all in for Lamar to get the ring. What are your thoughts on this? And sorry for the long message. And like Andrew Luck was after being Superman for the Colts, I'm out. I think I kind of see what you're saying about it being kind of like an Andrew Luck situation. It's very different to me though, at the same time. OBJ, signing OBJ or not signing OBJ would not be the that would not be the team letting us know if it wouldn't be Eric DeCosta letting us know if he's in or not all in. Regardless of what happens with OBJ, the Ravens, offense-wise, are not an all-in team. I think they want their way to work. We all hope it works, obviously. Don't always have the most confidence in it, but we all hope it works, obviously. I think no matter what Ravens fans say about this, that, and the third, I'm pretty sure that one thing that we all agree on is that we want the team to have the ultimate success. That's winning, that's getting to the playoffs, winning in the playoffs, and winning the Super Bowl. Everybody can agree on that. But it's just the way to get there that not all of us agree on. Again, which is always fine as long as it's respectful. But they're not an all-in on offense type of team. They are a team that builds from the inside out. Obviously, every team got to build the offensive lineup. That's first and foremost. But after that, they start with the run game, the running backs, the fullbacks. That's their bread and butter. Then they go out to the tight ends. And then after a while, you got to do some super stretching and reaching to get to them wide receivers, baby. But they get to them eventually. But they build it from the inside out. And again, regular season, I'm cool with it. Even in postseason, because you need a run game too. But my concern is for playoffs. I ain't concerned about regular season, man. I'm concerned about playoffs. Like, that's why I really want these guys to get it going in regular season, especially with the passing game, just to get more used to it. Because repetition, the more you repeat something, you do it over and over, you get better at it. You get more and more better at it. So, yeah, they obviously riding with the guys that they got. So, Deshaun Jackson, James Prochet, Devin Duvernay, Likely, Mandrews, of course, all the running backs, Gus, J.K. when he comes back, Kenyon, Drizzy, Drake, Justice Hill, Mike Davis. So, yeah, man, we'll see how this thing shakes out. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But like I said, we all want the same thing. We all want the same thing. But we'll see if the Ravens' way of getting there right now, if it ends up working.
Yeah, this feels like a dream.